She's saying no, but
she's mad, but she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Izzy is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, welcome in everyone to episode 61 of Axe Kick Picks. Today is September 15th, 2023. And boy, do I love post-pay-per-view shows, Joe. Welcome in, Joe. How the hell you doing, kid?
Doing fantastic, man. I'm hyped for this weekend. You know, a lot of fights going on today.
Yeah.
CFFC, we got LFA, man. And I had a great kickoff to my morning with one. So
I love it. Yeah, we got a big show for everyone. Obviously, we'll recap one of the biggest upsets in UFC history, in my opinion. UFC 293. We got UFC Noche, some MMA news towards the end, and obviously looking to stay hot in the Contender Series. Joe went 5-0. How else did you do this morning?
Oh man, I went 9-3. So had the board covered from head to toe.
I
Did a
fucking
good job.
love it. Attaboy. And, you know, I was wondering, not wondering, but I heard that one championship is actually having 4 events in 2024 in the States. So the more popular it's getting, I love it. I think we should incorporate it a little more maybe in the next season, but we got to catch a show. I love everything that one is about.
Absolutely. Yeah. The president's great. All the fighters, of course. And we're hyped for next week because you got Rod Tang taking on Superlek, and that's a highly anticipated matchup for them.
100%. So we'll definitely do a better job of covering it and giving out picks for the future. But Joe, keep killing it there. Let's get into it. The new middleweight champion of the world. I'm not joking.
I didn't see it coming.
Sean fucking Strickland, 49-46 times 3. I'll say this, from the short time of me watching UFC, Joe, I have to say this might be a little bigger than Alexa Grasso, or no, I would guess I should say Juliana Pena defeating Amanda Nunes, but I just think this is remarkable. Sean Strickland did exactly what he was going to go out there and do, and I'm still kind of shell shocked. I just did not expect that performance from the ex-champion Israel Adesanya. Talk to me. What were your thoughts about the fight and how it went down?
I called it. You know, I didn't see it coming. I'm being completely honest. You know, Israel has made me money in the past, and I was going with precedent, honestly. And like you said, no one the odds were that way for a reason. No one expected Sean to win. We had a lot of fans backing him, but I think the expectation was Izzy was going to walk away with this. But I do want to pat myself on the back for basically breaking down how their styles clash, because I think I hit that on the head. Israel has had trouble with those who can check leg kicks, and that's exactly what we saw on full display. I said that the game is going to come down between leg kicks. If Izzy can land those leg kicks, he can start picking them apart in the later rounds. But I don't think he anticipated the checks that Sean was having for him, and every kick was checked. So the game plan to check all the leg kicks and parry everything, even feints. It just worked wonders for Sean Strickland. It was an amazing performance. I hope he can recreate this in a future bout if he has to rematch Izzy, or if he does get another opponent. I would like to see him repeat this, because I hope it's not just a one-hit wonder with him, to be honest. And we've seen it in the past. I'm a big fan of Sean Strickland. You've seen it in the past, the times he stepped up. But when we see him got to the higher levels of competition, he regressed a little bit. So this was a complete shock, but the game plan was perfect, and he executed it to a T.
Now, there's so many directions I want to go. Before spinning it forward, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, just the way he went into this fight. And to be honest, as the walkouts are coming, I'd be lying if I thought Sean Strickland looked a little tense. I thought
he was nervous.
It looked like he was very nervous, and it looked like the whole week Israel Adesanya was just calm. The moment wasn't too big, even in the walkout. But you're right. I think around round 3 or 4, I was getting worried because the feints weren't working. He wasn't able to find his jab. He even said it to Eugene Berriman, hey, I can't find my jab. I'm having a tough time trying to find this guy. And he kept cutting the distance off. He was always trying to strike. And for him to outstrike one of the best strikers that I've ever seen, Oh my God, you can't take anything away from Sean Strickland. So just talk to me about his performance and and Eric Nixon, his coach, an amazing coach, came out and said, listen, like every time in the last minute, I said optics, wrestle, grapple. And he just was like, no, I'm just going there and I'm going to bang with Israel Adesanya. And he's now the fucking champ. Who would have said a year later when he lost a split decision to Jared Cannonier
Yep.
to go on a 2-fight win streak and now the middleweight
He's the
champion?
champ.
He might be fighter of the year.
I mean, absolutely. That's plausible. You know, for that big of an upset this year, I mean, he could definitely earn that award. And you know, it was honestly all the hours of sparring for Sean. The dude doesn't stop fighting. That's the thing. You know, he said in a bunch of his interviews where he seems most at peace and where he feels most alive is fighting, whether it's in the cage, in the ring, or just sparring his teammates, or maybe some dummy who wants to try him in the streets.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's something that he loves, and I do think that all the sparring rounds that he does, it amounted to the performance we saw Saturday.
And get credit sparring, because a lot of fighters have come out recently and say, hey, I don't believe in sparring. Sparring's really not in my training. It does a lot more damage than we think. And all this motherfucker does is spar. So I think
Hey,
it's
to
a
each
win
their
for
own.
sparring. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's to each their own. That's my opinion. It might, it might work
Yeah.
for one, it might not work for the other,
And I actually think Sean is going to be a good champion. And here's why: because he's a company man. Whatever and whoever Dana White and Sean Shelby and Hunter say, listen, I want you to fight X, Y, or Z. He's a yes man. He'll be like, where and when do I sign up? I'll fucking fight anyone. I love it. I don't know if you saw the video, but he already broke the belt. It's so Sean Strickland. I fucking love it. But I actually think he's going to be a good champion. So spinning it forward, before we touch on Israel, Sean Strickland now, a lot of people say, immediate rematch. Eugene said, hey, we could fix whatever was going on in a week. I don't necessarily, I think as much as Israel Adesanya is my favorite fighter besides John Jones, but I personally don't think he should rematch. I think he needs some time away. He's been training camp after training camp after
extremely
training camp.
active.
Stay away for a year. Let the division play out. And I think come October in the next pay-per-view, he should fight the winner of Chimaev and Costa, or Jared Cannonier, and have that rematch. That one stings, but what do you think moving forward for Sean Strickland?
That's a lot of people would like to see that again, and Jared's deserving as well. But yeah, I think the UFC is going to want to go with their cash cows, and that's probably Costa's very active on social media, so he catches a lot of attention, and Hamzat, he's a superstar across the globe. So the UFC is operating as a business. This is a sport. All these people are athletes. These fighters are athletes. But at the end of the day, the business does come first. And so we very well may see the UFC decide the winner of Paulo Costa and Hamzat Chimaev. But Jared Cannonier thrown in there is good. But I know Dreykus is out, but he can make a case as well, since he's been, he beat Robert Whittaker and he's just sitting there. I think a lot of cases can be made. But I agree with your point, as unfortunate as it may be. I also think that the other money aspect would be to just do the rematch and have Sean wait, maybe him do his rounds, promo, build himself up as a champion, holding the belt, kind of like that hardcore-ish. That's what I compared it to when the belt broke and you put duct tape on. I thought he was like a hardcore champion back in the early 2000s. But you have that rematch run back, and I think that's going to generate good numbers and good business for the company. So, unfortunately, maybe Sean Strickland wants to be active. He may have to wait for Izzy to return.
So I'm going to put my promotion hat on, and I agree. I think the money fight and what would generate the most money for the company is obviously Israel Adesanya. Now, you bring up DDP, and I think this is the worst case for him, to be honest. I know you went out and you beat a Robert Whittaker that should secure you a title shot, but I don't necessarily think he's next. I don't think the UFC liked that he said no to a title fight. And this is what, Joe, this is what happens when you say yes to things. You take any opportunity you can and you run with it, because you never fucking know. And look what happened. Sean Strickland
as a world champ. Exactly.
So I honestly think DDP might be fucked around here. To be honest, I think he might have to wait till next year and either fight a Jared Cannonier or have one more fight, or fight the loser of Chimaev Costa. Like, I really think he fucked himself by not accepting this fight. What do you think?
Well, I'll go into this. Absolutely. I agree. I do think he effed himself in terms of, trying to call the shots when he wasn't in position to do so. But in terms of that fight that you just mentioned, the Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev fight, do you think the winner of that deserves a title shot? Or, as you just said, the loser should fight DDP? Maybe actually that's a title eliminator, have DDP fight the winner of that fight.
I do. I think that's the direction the UFC wants to go, especially if Israel Adesanya wants to take 9 months to a year off, which I think he deserves at this point. He has enough money, he could do whatever he wants. But I do think they get the next shot. I think Costa and Sean Strickland or Chimaev. I think if Chimaev goes out there and finishes him in the first round, I think he's gonna. You can't deny him after that.
For as long as we've had these dominant champions and the divisions have become a little stagnant, they are wide open now.
Yeah.
So honestly, the Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya losing has actually helped the weight classes.
Yeah, 100%. So Sean Strickland is the new champ. Now moving it to Israel Adesanya's side, I've advocated time off, training camp after training camp and after training camp. It's tiring. You're a company man, and I understand you want to fight and you want to stay active like your partner, Alexander Volkanovski. But at a certain point, I think, and I want to give credit to Henry Cejudo too, because I listened to him break down the fight, and he said, I love Eugene Bareman and what he could do in a little island of New Zealand and get all these top-ranked fighters, but maybe go out and explore a little and get new techniques and new strategies on how to train and just broaden your horizon, because he's so stuck in his camp and he's a very loyal man and I respect him for that. But I
got
think
an answer for you.
Yeah.
I got an answer for you. So we just saw a video drop of Israel Adesanya.
Oh,
He met up with Peter Yan in Russia.
I love it. I fucking love it.
I don't necessarily know if it was in Russia, but it looked like he was,
or maybe Thailand.
Yeah, because Tiger Muay Thai. I mean, I honestly, and they were right. It's not that far of a skip over to go to Thailand from Australia, so that's plausible. I was mistaken. It did. The background, the dreary look, it looked like Russia. It looks like Peter never left home. But honestly, like you said, if he's going to go and experience different fighters and maybe some different styles, he may come out of training with Peter Yan with some maybe better, crisper combinations with boxing, or maybe better takedown defense, more confident with the takedown defense to throw, because we didn't see really any spinning stuff, and I know Izzy isn't too prone to do that, but I think that would just broaden his arsenal. So Peter does it a lot. That's kind of my understanding of it, is that might as well open up to some tricks and trades. And Izzy's.
But do you agree he should try to broaden horizon? Do you think he should move, not technically leave his camp, because that's family for him, city kickboxing, but go out and seek other techniques?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think he was with his team, and it most likely was with the approval of Eugene Bareman. If he wasn't there, I mean, that dude is pretty much with his team anywhere they go. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was with them.
Yeah, so should be very interesting. But I do think, spinning it forward, I think Israel needs a break. Let the division play out a little, and maybe you run this rematch down the road. You never fucking know. You know what I mean? But as much, and to be honest, everyone's saying they want to see a rematch. I'm sorry, but I don't want to see another fight like that. It was boring, and it was very one-sided. Izzy won round 2 barely.
Yes. But you know what? To end it with this, I gotta say, everyone was asleep when I was watching that fight, because it did run late.
Yeah.
I woke everyone up when Sean dropped Izzy in the first. So what was your reaction to that?
I mean, I've never seen Izzy, and credit me if I'm wrong, that's the first time ever he's been dropped in a fight. So I was shocked, and he threw the kitchen sink at him afterwards. And I was just always expecting not just that flurry towards the end of the first round. And credit Mark Goddard. I know we give him shit, but for him to stay patient and not jump it, I give him credit, because a lot of people did. And that's the leeway I like champions to get. Let them recover. My thing is, I was scared. I was like, oh my God, he could knock him out in the fucking first round.
Yeah,
and the second, third, fourth, even in the fifth, when you knew he needed a knockout, why didn't Izzy ever go for it? Was he scared? I mean, Sean has come out and said, hey, I'm not the strongest puncher. I don't understand why he never went for it.
Maybe he got in his head a little bit as well, as the first round. I think he had a long road to recover. I honestly don't think he was good throughout the whole fight after that first round. I honestly think once he got clipped and got dropped, I think he was hurt throughout the fight. I really, like you said, as much as we didn't expect it, Izzy sure as hell didn't expect that. And maybe Sean not either. And the fact that goes back into what we said about the sparring, the fact that he didn't gas himself throwing all the kitchen sink at and throwing all those strikes. That was impressive, honestly. But I think he was hurt. Honestly, that's my genuine opinion.
And Sean even came out and said, like, honestly, it felt like I was fighting an amateur. He goes, I knew how fucking good
he couldn't shake the
Izzy
cobwebs, Izzy.
No,
he just couldn't.
no.
I think the whole fight he was in a fog after that first round.
But credit Izzy, man. You know,
doesn't take anything away from Sean either.
No, and it doesn't take anything away from Izzy's history and his run as a champion. He's always going to be a champion. So he was, and both of them were very respectful after the fight. They both respected each other. Israel has no choice but to respect Sean Strickland now. And Sean, after the whole dog and whatever shit he was saying, he goes, listen, man,
bro.
I'm sorry. You are a legend and I respect you. So credit to them. And you know what? I like this side of Sean Strickland. I think his girlfriend kind of changed him a little bit, to be honest. I never saw that side of Sean Strickland walking in, holding hands, kissing on embedded. I'm like, who is this guy? But I'm happy for him.
Yep. He's human. That's right. That's sure the human side of him. That's for sure.
But man, credit Sean Strickland, the new middleweight champion. It's still crazy to say, but man, shout out him. Co-main event, Alexander Volkov gets the submission choke in the second round, 4 minutes, 37 seconds into the fight. Man, Tai Tuivasa now 2 in a row drop. Volkov looked very sharp, very crisp, very clean. That was one of the fights I got right. But what are your thoughts on Alexander Volkov and, you know, this heavyweight division now?
Yeah, I was going against my head on that one. As we spoke about on the last episode, Volkov was my mind bet, and I went with my heart and picked Tuivasa. I was hoping for some shoeys. I think the night got a little disappointed. The crowd got a little disappointed on the night because there was no shoeys. You know, as majority of the Australians and New Zealand fighters won, that one and the Izzy fight kind of, you know, took a little bit of the wind out the sails of, you know, the crowd. But, man, Volkov looks super impressive. Tai, I don't know where he goes. I'll be honest, I don't have answers for Tai. Everything was looking up if he were to come out victorious on that, but I really think he's in limbo at the moment. But for Volkov, dude is right nearing a title shot. If he doesn't really face a wrestler, he should be favored every time. I think he is probably one of the most technical fighters in the heavyweight division and has been for years. And the dude's got pop, and now he could throw in submissions, whether he's on his back, whether he winds up on top. Volkov is a force in that division, and that Ezekiel choke was nasty, bro. I think you're only really able to do it if you got those long limbs. I know Alexei Oleinik was able to do some from the bottom, where he's a little stockier than Volkov. But if you got those long limbs, man, you could throw up Ezekiel choke, even if you're on the bottom, and sink it in. So that was slick. And Volkov, if he's not, you know, depending on how everything shapes out in the heavyweight division, I may spin it a little forward, but he might be ready for a title shot, if not one away.
Yeah, I mean, that Ezekiel choke was something else. He said it was the first time he's ever done it. He practiced it a few times and said, hey, this sounds like a good position. So to throw it and actually get him to tap is actually very impressive, I think. Now he's sitting at number 6. I agree. I don't know if he's ready for a title fight. I think he needs one more because you got some guys in the waiting. But yeah, you're right. Tai Tuivasa is on the outside looking in. He's now sitting at 8. He dropped 2 spots. You got to give him a layup or something to get him back. But my thing is there's no really layups in the top 10. Number 10, you got Derek Lewis, Jolton Almeida at 9, and you do not want to first Jolton Almeida right now. You and I saw it firsthand.
And the heavyweights that Dana's getting on the Contender Series right now, they all look vicious.
Yeah. And even at 11, when you go down, you still got killers. Marcin Tybura, Rosenstrike. You got Alexander Romanov. You have Marcus Rogerio de Lima. Like, you got fucking killers. I don't think he's done, but Tai needs a win because it doesn't look good right now for Tai Tuivasa. He did take some time, actually about maybe 7-8 months to this fight. So we'll see. Alexander Volkov, he has to see what plays out. John Jones, obviously, versus Cyril Gane. You got to think Pavlicek is next. And then Cyril Gane's probably going to take on Tom Aspinall. So, and Curtis Blades is taking on Jolton Almeida. So I think he has to wait and see who maybe the winner of Jolton Almeida and Curtis Blades is, because that would be a good fight.
Now, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, and I don't want to get it too ahead of myself because I know you want to move on, but the thing is that heavyweight landscape is definitely going to change after that John Jones and Stipe Miocic fight, because my opinions on the matter is no matter who wins that fight,
They're both
are retiring.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's nothing left. There's nothing to prove now for John Jones, but if he goes out and beats the GOAT of the heavyweight division, what else? In Madison Square Garden in front of your
Mecca.
You got to go out. So no, I agree on that point. Can't wait for UFC 295.
How about our boy?
Oh, Manel Cap. But let's give credit to Felipe Dos Santos. This guy, this kid's going to be a fucking problem in the flyweight division, but credit Manel Cap. Like, he was just that much sharper, man. That guy is a problem. And I'm so glad he took advantage of the mic, because not a lot of people take advantage of that 30 seconds or whatever you get. And that's going to be the next fight, him and Kai Kara-France. It has to be.
Yeah, man. Like I said, he could be a world champion, the dude. I've always seen it when he first came over. His ability to stand up with the best of them, it just impresses me. I have nothing but positive things to say about his fighting ability, Manel Cap. I know other people may be turned off of what he says on the mic.
Well, we had two slip ups. Let's just say that. But
but
they Chucky fucking Buffalo. They both did apologize, which was good. But regardless, hell of a fight. It got fight of the night, so I'm glad they got their $50,000 bonus. That kid, Dos Santos, is here to stay. Dana White said he will take care of him. Don't worry. And when the boss man says that, you know you impressed him. So Manel Cap, 8 in the world now. He moves up 2 spots. Looking for a clash between number 5 ranked Kai Kara-France, and I do think that's the next fight. If he goes out there and finishes or puts on a performance like he did Saturday night, he's next in line.
Yeah, I honestly,
he has to be.
Future world champ, but honestly think Manel Cap's ready for a title now. But I do think that he needs to, he
needs one more.
He needs to get I forgot how I could use that in the correct form right now. He needs to just get rid of Kai Kara, put him in a rearview mirror, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest, as we went into that, I'll let you get into the next 2 fights. But I just got to say, I wasn't more happy than I was in the start of UFC 293. I was so happy how it's done.
Oh, all right, we'll get there in a sec. But performance of the night, Justin Tafa, no eye pokes this one. 1:22, puts Austin Lane away.
Yeah, both of those fights. I was happy to see that, man.
Oh, my God. I was so happy for Justin Tafa. Gets the win. Not kind of in his home region, I would say. He's from New Zealand. But, man, like I said, bro, his cinder block hands, once he puts his hands on you, good night, good luck. And that man went straight
bad down. Man.
Yes, sir. He got the performance of the night. So did Sean Strickland as well. So $50,000 bonus to the New Zealander. And yeah, Tyson Pedro. What a performance and bounce back. He's a new fighter under city kickboxing. So I think that's gonna help him moving forward. And what'd you think about the celebration? I thought that was elite. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he got samurai, dude. Anton got samurai. I was hyped, bro. I'll be honest, man. It was fantastic. I know you were with the pleasure, man, but the dude caught a stick up his ass with Tyson Pedro.
And my thing was the pleasure, man. Like, it looked like he doesn't take it serious. And he was getting hit by Tyson Pedro, and he was like kind of like laughing. And I was like, dude, you're going to get fucking knocked out. Like, yeah, what's funny?
They don't have much room for guys like that.
No, not at all. So credit to Tyson Pedro. I think this is the best I've seen Tyson Pedro look in a while. So credit him. He got a nice win. I can't believe he closed as an underdog. Carlos Ulberg, man, he does get credit for the submission win. 4 minutes, 49 seconds in round 3. That was one of the 3 wins for City Kickboxing. What do you think of Carlos Ulberg? Better competition in Da Woon Jung.
Absolutely better competition, but Carlos Ulberg, the dude is just such a superior athlete, man. I just see it, and he was using his strikes real well, but the submission was a surprise, bro. Yeah. No one saw that coming. If there was anybody out there who had a ticket for Carlos Ulberg via submission, post them, shout yourself, pat yourself on the back. You deserve it. That's impressive, because I don't think anybody. The only thing you're seeing from Carlos Ulberg is him to win via KO, TKO, or win via decision. So the fact that it was submission is just it's baffling to me. But what a performance, dude. Like you said, a step up in competition. Saseda, he's no joke. He is a tough guy, power puncher. And I'll be honest, Carlos Solberg wasn't all too phased in there. He really looked
No.
like a professional.
Yeah, and it's showing he's elevating his game. Now he could hit you with the submission moves as well on the floor. So always elevating, and I love the camp that he is in City Kickboxing. So Carlos Solberg, big win over Da Woon Zhang. Man, I'm Chepe Moscow. I wanted to take him so bad, but I was like, you know what? Fucking Jack Jenkins. How can I fade my boy in Australia? And holy shit, his fucking elbow, oh my.
That's just a freak accident, man. When injuries like that occur in the octagon, it doesn't spell good for anyone.
No.
Your stock doesn't raise if you came out on top, and if you're the one that had the injury too, it's unfortunate. Now you got a road to recovery. So I hope speedy recovery to Jack Jenkins. But congrats to Chet Mariscal. I had him. I know you were Jack Jenkins. I'll be honest, the way the fight before that injury was working out, Jack Jenkins was on his way to win that fight.
I was just gonna say that. I
so-
thought he won
so-
the first round.
The fact that Chepe toughed it out and wound up getting into his position because he did throw that toss for Jack Jenkins. The fact of the matter is, the first thing you learn in wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, any grappling art is to not brace your fall. And he broke rule number 1.
Yeah. So speedy recovery for Jack Jenkins, because I do think he is a good fighter in that featherweight division. But credit Chepe Moscow for overcoming it, getting the win in the second round. Jamie Malaki, I don't know about this one, Joe, but unanimous decision for Jamie Malarkey. I had it split.
It could have gone either way, man. It really could have. And did you see the John Makdessi post he just made about his earnings coming from Australia? He had to
Don't ever fight in Sydney, Australia. I will.
But honestly, as a Canadian citizen, John Makdessi should know they tax 50% as well.
I know, but I guess it's more common to go to Australia in the UFC than it is, I guess, Canada. And that's why you see a lot of fighters now advocating to fight in Las Vegas, because they take nothing.
That's right.
And New York City, they take, Florida's another one. No, Tennessee's another one. But yeah, when you go over to the states that we live in, they're gonna tax you, old Uncle Sam. So it's another day. But Nasrat Hakbras,
he looked
nice
good.
win.
I don't know why I went with Landon Quinones.
Quinones looked a little better than he did in the show, but still, I just thought that was a bad matchup. So overall, Joe, I thought it was a really good card. I didn't do the best. I went 2-5. I got there with Justin Tafa, and I got there with Alexander Volkov. Other than that, got everything wrong. Just bad reads. To be honest, I'll say this. I had Carlos Ulberg via knockout. I felt like that should have happened. Jack Jenkins, I was going to lose that one. Tyson Pedro made me look like a fool. But I had Manel Cap via knockout. I thought, dude, this guy's fucking tough as nails. Like, he was just throwing with them. So, I don't know. I felt like I had good reads, but overall 2-5. How did
these young Brazilians that are coming up are dogs too, man?
Yeah.
He made it like last second. He was supposed to be Dana White contender, Felipe dos Santos, and he puts up a performance like that. It's when Mosbar had a knee replacement 288 we went to.
Yeah.
And our boy Diego Lopez stepped up, put on a performance. So
I love it.
Shout out them.
How did you do record-wise?
In my prelims, I did fantastic. I went 5-2, and then in the main card, I went 500. I went 3-3. It was that main event that got me, put in Izzy and then him via decision. So I was right about the analysis, but wrong person.
Yeah, same way. No, hey, we'll brush ourselves off. You were still above 500 carrying the load. Hey, we take turns. Some week I have a bad week. You pick me up and vice versa. Right. But let's get to UFC Noches. Before that, a quick word from our sponsor today. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry on a Saturday watching UFC Noches, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axcape Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe. Honestly, I'm very happy. UFC Noche at the T-Mobile Arena, relatively free card. It's on ESPN Plus, but still, I love it. Mexican Independence Day, Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. Prelims start around 7. Main card starts at 10. Joe, I'll take it. Leave it over to you.
Hey, I'm gonna kick it. I wonder when the last time a title fight was on free television, on quote unquote
They
free
they
television.
said they said it was back when they were on Fox.
So is that like Demetrius Johnson and like Benavidez or Ray Borg
Yes,
on
they did.
Fox?
They did mention that.
That's
How
probably
long
what it
ago
was.
was that?
What? That's like
Were
5
we in
years
high
ago at least.
school? Oh no.
Probably. That's
Oh wow.
5 years not, but like maybe it might have gone that back. I gotta look it up. But
By the way, do you like the new belt?
the one they decided, unfortunately, there's a little bad, it could be a black cloud over it because they gave it to Brandon Moreno and he lost right after.
Oh, I forgot about
Interesting.
that.
Oh no,
That's
it wasn't even Brandon Moreno. It was Yair Rodriguez as an interim.
Oh, they're doing the
That
Mexican fighters dirty.
they're right. They should have taken advantage of that back then. But not only do we have UFC Noche taking place this weekend, we got other ones. I mentioned the previous ones, but you got Octagon 46 and KSW 86. So I got something for you towards the end. Let's get right into UFC Noche or Noche UFC, however you want to refer to it as. And the first fight of the evening is between Josephine Knutson, made her debut on the Dana White Contender Series, against a last-minute replacement in Manic Man. And the way I saw that fight the first time, I was all over Josephine Knutson. I honestly think that she was more technical, and I feel like she was going to come out with a decision victory. And I'm looking at Manic Man, and I'm worried that Josephine may be able to get it done within the distance, and there's more value there. But to me, if you look at their resumes, Manic Man has lost by decision once, and Joseph Knutson has won, I think, 5 of her 6 via decision. So I'm going to go with precedent. I think the safest bet here is to take the favorite, and to get the value out of it is to take her via decision. I got Josephine Knutson via decision at -110.
Love the last name.
Hey, we kicked it off well right there. And here we go. We're going to someone that is Jersey's own, baby, the cannibal, Charlie Campbell. He's taking on Alex Reyes. And if you don't know, Alex Reyes is Dom Reyes' little brother. The dude hasn't fought in 6 years. And the last time he fought 6 years ago was him getting knocked out by Mike Perry. So he's had a tough slate. To be completely honest, he's had a lot of canceled bouts. I like the Jersey boy here. I haven't been being as much as a homer as I have been, but Charlie Campbell, I think he's rightfully so the guy to get it done inside the distance. I got a specific prop for you. It might be one of my few. I did have the decision prior, but I'm going to take Charlie Campbell here with the second round knockout TKO. Giving you +500 odds for it. I've seen people have him via first round, but if you look at his resume and you watch some of the fights prior, he's beating people up with volume. He does have some power, but he's getting them out in the later first rounds and an early second, early third. So I like to see that they will get out of the first, maybe second round of start is a good bet. But like I said, I'm playing a specific with a Jersey boy here and taking him via second round KO TKO at +500. Biggest odds of the night early.
I love it.
All right. And hey, we're getting to an anticipated matchup here. And a lot of people have high expectations for Tracy Cortez here. And she's taking on a tough competitor in Jasmine Jasudavicius. And she's coming off a win. Tracy Cortez, I don't think she's had a little bit of a laugh, but she's coming off of a win. And I may have a surprise for you when you pass it over me. But D, I'm passing it to you to start. Who you got?
I know you got Jasmine. A lot of people do, and I understand it. Tracy Cortez 4-0 in the UFC. She is coming off a year layoff. She's dealing with some personal issues, but we've seen that sometimes that does work in the fighter's favor, taking that year off and kind of regrouping. We've just advocated for the ex-champ to do that in Israel Adesanya. So maybe she's a little better for it. But, Jasmine, she's coming off a good win against Miranda Maverick. But I just think Tracy Cortez, she's going to be able to stay on the outside, outstrike her on the feet. She has the better cardio, and she has a good ground game. So first round might be a little slow feeling out process, but I do think she wins a very close fight. Give me Tracy Cortez to win via decision at +155. First Mexican
I love
fighter.
the odds. I love the odds. Tracy Cortez, beautiful girl, and her fighting skill, honestly, it should speak for itself. I'm kind of a fool, you could say, for fading her in this spot because she's one of the few undefeated fighters we talked about in episodes past. But guys, I'm putting it out there. If y'all have some entrance music for Jasmine Jasudavicius, I think she's still looking for a walkout song. So everybody hit her up on
Hit her
Twitter,
up.
Instagram with your suggestions. That's who I'm taking, man. I like the interaction she's doing with her fans. I feel like she's coming off a great fight. Miranda Maverick is a title challenger, I think. You know, she's young in the sport, but she has that potential. And the fact that Jasmine Jasudavicius won, I think it was unanimous, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a split decision. I think she beat her convincingly. I got to go with that. A more recent fight. I got something to work off of. I like her as a dog. I'll take her on the money line at plus 110. But I can't blame you for taking Tracy Cortez.
Hell yeah.
Hey, so let's go on to the next one. Edgar Chairez was one of the latest guys to weigh in. He didn't look all too good, but he did make weight. I'm pretty sure. Did you see if anyone missed weight? I'm pretty sure all fighters made weight.
All fighters. Jack Della Maddalena was the last fighter. He
was the last one.
He was like 45 minutes left, and he barely got 171.
Yeah, but Chairez,
everyone
he looked bad. Honestly, he looked really rough. Daniel Lacerda, though, talk about looking bad on a weight scale. The dudes look bad in the octagon. I can't put my money on Daniel Lacerda here. I'm going to take Edgar Chairez just on the money line. It's a chalky at minus 221. I got it. Maybe you want to put him in a parlay. I think it's a little dicey, so I'm going to keep him just straight up. But that's who I'm leaning with. Like I said, yeah, he looked bad at the scale, but he's looked good in the octagon. I can't say the same for Daniel Lacerda.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Absolutely. And then another anticipated guy here with Roman Kopylov making his return, taking on a guy who made us some money last time, Josh Fremd. You know, fan of the guy. I think he's got a lot of talent, but he's got a bad matchup with Roman Kopylov here. Dude is a savage. I think he has a full arsenal of tools to work with. I got this play September 4th. It's Kopylov money line at minus 240. Like I said, super chalky, but I'm giving you straight plays. If you want to go ahead and incorporate him in a parlay, if you feel confident enough, by all means do so. I think it's a bad matchup for Josh Fremd as much as I like the guy.
Do you think he knocks him out or inside the distance maybe?
Yeah, if you want to get a little more value, honestly, I would, Josh Fremd does like to wrestle at times. I feel like he can get caught somehow. I know jumping Gilly isn't the best game plan for fighters, but maybe a guillotine by Roman Kopylov. So via submission is also plausible.
Kopylov via submission plus 1,600. But if you want to get him, Kopylov inside the distance minus 125.
A little safer bet. Can't go wrong with that. Not bad. And I'll take it right into the next fight here, man. A fan favorite. Everyone loves the name, loves how she fights. Lupe Godinez, man, ex-wrestler. You got to love everything about her, but she's taking on another Jersey person, Elise Reed, who is just the queen of robberies because she always makes it an interesting fight. She's always in it, but a lot of times it looks like she's getting outpointed, but winds up victorious on the judges' scorecards. I couldn't tell you for the life of me why that is. My fear is it happens again. My play for this one is one of my safer bets for the weekend, and it's Lupe Godinez versus Elise Reed. Fight to go to distance. It's minus 170. That's my play.
Love it.
Do you think that's plausible? Do you think a fighter can get the job done? If you look at the resumes, a lot of decisions.
A lot of decisions, but I like Lupe. I think she might get it done. That was going to be one of my leans here. I know we hate to go against our Jersey people, but I think she might get it inside the distance, to be honest. She's a huge favorite. I don't want to lay almost $5 with her.
No. And I like that take. That's why I asked to say your opinions on it because like a lot of people I've seen, man, Lupe is a safe bet this weekend. I just worry if it gets to the judges. You can never trust those judges.
Yeah, so the fight to go to decision is favored at minus 150, but I don't know. And you made a good point. Elisa Reed does always keep it interesting in her fights, and she does have a strong chin. I don't know. Maybe a safer fight, maybe a safer bet is the fight to go to decision at minus 150 instead of laying almost $5 with her. I do think she's a good parlay piece, but I wouldn't lay $425 to get 100,
Yeah, absolutely. You're correct with that. I think that was the featured prelim.
Yep. Yes,
and
sir.
We're going to go right into the main event here. I'm hyped for this matchup. Last time we see the monster out there, Kyle Nelson, he put on a performance in Canada. All the Canadian fighters won, but he seems to be the first Canadian fighter to make his way back into the octagon. So I'm hyped to see what he has to offer, but he's taking on a tough opponent. Fernando Padilla, super explosive. I like saying hitting on the end of his punches, and that's exactly what he does. He's long. Fernando Padilla is super talented, super dangerous. He's another one that I'm playing safe. I got a minus 240 earlier in the week. but he is the one that I'm guaranteeing as a parlay piece. So I gave you options on what to do, but even though if you take him straight up minus 240, laying a little bit of chalk, I would put Fernando Padilla in a part of a parlay.
A lot of people were saying Kyle Nelson, this is too big of a favorite for Fernando. And the people saying he might be live Kyle Nelson at over $2 because right now, cheapest price for Fernando is minus 250. So it is going in your way, but I think 250 is like very expensive.
Yeah, it is absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe the best way to get value is to put him into a parlay because I'm a little confident on him. Like I said, I know I like Kyle Nelson and the dude's a fighter, but maybe that being the first Canadian to have a quick turnover, it might work against him in this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right.
There's always a chance. So that'll take us into the next fight. And this is the second part of my parlay. It's just a 2-leg parlay. And I got Daniel Zellhuber to go along with it. Christos Giagos, he's game. He wants to fight. He's actually looked good in a couple of his previous performances, but I can't fade Daniel Zellhuber here. He's another $2 favorite. Minus 230 is when I saw him. But that's why I was comfortable taking both he and Padilla on the money line because I'm incorporating them in a 2-leg parlay where the minus 230 and minus 240 gave me minus 120. So I felt more comfortable in playing them two in a parlay for minus 120 than playing each of them separate for a $2 favorite.
No, I love it.
So I hope I gave some fair value, even though we do have some favorites on here. I got you some dogs. Let's talk about the featured bout of the main card, which is between 18-year-old sensation Raul Rosas Jr. taking on Terrence Mitchell. And, Terrence Mitchell, he's been around the block a few times. I think, though, in his amateur bout, he faced Kai Kara France, and I think he was knocked out rather quick. It's interesting because I think Kai was fighting way heavier than what he was. So that just bold some worrisome for me. But then on the flip, Raul Rosas Jr., I just don't think that his game is striking or ground and pound. When he wants to get you on the ground, he's going to try to submit you. I think that's very live, him getting submission here. Terrence Mitchell, I think he would be favored to get a knockout if he were to win this fight. I don't think the judges, depending on how the fight plays out, I just don't think that they're going to give Terrence Mitchell a chance if it winds up at the judges' scorecards. You want Raul Rosas to be the next guy. My play here is, I think, one of the most valuable plays. I've been all over the chats about it. I've been all over the internet about it, to be completely honest. Raul Rosas, if he does get hurt in the first round, then this is making it look better. But if he doesn't get the guy out of the first round, this bet's looking even better too. I'm worried to play a side in this. And so my bet, which I think you're getting a lot of value out of and is safe, is over 1.5 rounds at plus 200. Amazing. I really feel like if it doesn't get done early, I've seen a lot of first-round plays for Rojas. Honestly, it has nothing but to go down for him. I really feel like the fight would favor Terrence Mitchell as it goes later. So as soon as we get out of the first round, I think that 1.5's a lock. But it doesn't matter if anything happens in the first. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the value. That's the play I'm making in this feature bout.
Joe, I think we're lockstep, just skinning the cat a different way. But like you said, Rojas Jr., he's minus 800. He's the biggest favorite on the card. Terrence Mitchell, you're getting plus 520 back. He's no longer undefeated, but it's still crazy how he's the biggest favorite in the card. And Joe, I was telling you earlier in the week, I was looking to fade him. I just don't like him at this number at all. I don't think he should be. It's too big of a favorite. We all know what he wants to do. He's going to press you, try to take this fight to the ground and try to get a submission win. But he's too young. I think the UFC gave him this fight because Terrence Mitchell did get submitted in his last fight. But when you know what your opponent is only going to try one thing, it's easier to defend that. I'm not saying Terrence Mitchell is live, but how I'm going to attack this is I'm going to take the fight to start round 2 at plus 164 because like you, I agree. I think Mitchell is tough enough to defend most of those takedowns early on, and maybe he winds up losing later in the fight. I just think Terrence Mitchell is tough enough, and I think he knows what Raul Rojas is going to do. So how I'm going to play this fight, give me the fight to start round 2 at plus 164.
I love it, man. That's even safer than a bet of mine because as soon as it gets in the second round, you hit. I got to wait till the 230 mark.
But you got a little better number on it.
But hey, we never talked about this, so I'm glad we're on the same side.
Yeah.
And let's go into the co-main event of what is a fantastic card. I look at it as a great card, and I'm glad that these two fighters stepped up to fight one another, because when we end it, I'm going to tell you all the fights that we missed out on for UFC Noche. Kevin Holland, the Trailblazer man, big mouth. He's taking on JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, Giacomo, if you would. And D, I'm going to hand it over to your side. What do you got in this co-main event?
Only fight that's not Mexico versus the world, but it's okay because it's a fucking banger.
Yes.
I love this fight. Three named Jack, but this is Holland's fourth fight in 10 months. A lot of people are worried about that, Joe. Me, not so much. I think the wrong guy is favored. I think Holland should be the favorite. You know, JDM was supposed to fight Sean Brady. That never happened. Who has JDM fought realistically? You know, the competition level of experience are all on Holland's side. Holland has beaten fighters that are better than JDM, in my opinion. And Holland is more durable than anyone Jack Della Maddalena has put away. He has a better fight IQ. He gets himself out of bad positions. And let's not forget, he could submit you, and his takedown defense has gotten a lot better.
I think he's a lot bigger too.
Yeah, and I think JDM got a little exposed in his last fight. He got out wrestled. He made some poor decisions, and he kept jumping guillotine. I didn't like what I saw from him. Nothing he's shown me makes me think he could go out there and beat Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland might talk a big game and whatnot, but he's not a dumb fighter at all. So don't let that fool you.
He backs it up.
Absolutely, every time. So give me the underdog. I think the value is incredible. I would have flipped it. I would have made Kevin Holland the favorite, but I'll take plus 125 on the money line for Kevin Holland.
I love it. Yeah, you know, I forgot who he was. It was against like Basil Hafez. JDM fought last time and didn't look all too well. But that dude's another athlete. But there you go. He had issues with someone who was an athlete. Kevin Holland's a super athlete, to be honest. And like I said about him being bigger, the dude was fighting bigger guys on 185. Now he's stepping down. So I think you're right. I think Vegas has this wrong. I'm all over Kevin Holland. I got him on the money line at plus 130. Ooh, but nice. Something tells me that I seen the picture. Have you seen the picture of Kevin Holland sporting the Russian beard?
Oh,
it's
no.
Like Kevin Holland Gomedov. So I'm like, if Kevin Holland utilizes some wrestling in this, I think his path to victory is clear. Yeah. But the dude is vicious on the feet. I think, you know, he's got a highlight reel for the ages with knockouts. But I think you're going to get the Kevin Holland Gomedov. I really do. I think you're going to get some wrestling maybe in the second to third round. I have as well a play for Kevin Holland to win via decision. I don't have the odds on it, but I'm doing Kevin Holland and money line as a safe bet. Plus 130. Like you said, the odds should be flipped. But I do think Jack Della Maddalena is strong enough. Might give him some problems to get this, you know, to a judge's scorecards.
Yeah.
I worry once again about a robbery as well. That's something that is always plausible with fights this close, you know, in terms of skill and talent. So I worry about that. But yeah, I would want to go with the decision going with Kevin Holland, because if he utilizes some wrestling, I don't think Jack Della Maddalena has really dealt with it all too well. And you see in his last fight, he didn't.
Kevin Holland via decision plus 400. My only worry with Kevin Holland is if you got to wrestle. Don't stand there and fucking bang like you did with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, because that's when he gets into trouble. But I don't think he's going to do that. I think he's going to out wrestle him. And we've seen when there's a better athlete than JDM, let's not take anything away. JDM is a good athlete, but Kevin Holland, there's levels. You know, he was fighter of the fucking year a year ago. So let's not forget that. So no, I agree. I think I like the side as well. And I like via decision as well. So love it, kid.
Absolutely. And, you know, I forgot where I was going with Kevin Holland.
I want to ask you real quick before you think about it. What are your thoughts on, you know, he was on, he had press conference this weekend. Are you?
Thank you.
Are you upset that he wants to fight for the belt?
That's exactly what I was going to talk about. Thank you, bro. See, we're on the same page here. I love it. The fact of the matter is, I think everyone's questioning, why does he want the belt? Why is he saying this? I think it's just like John Jones' mechanism to kind of protect his psyche. I think it's taking pressure off him, taking the nerves out of it. The dude wants to be a champion. I really do. I think he's trying to fool everybody. And he has the ability to be a champion. To be honest, we saw Sean Strickland be a champ. Anybody can be a champ. So Kevin Holland, I think, to alleviate some pressure in his own mind, is to say that, man, this is my job. This is my career. And I'm going to do so. You know what I mean? I think it really is a defense mechanism. The dude, who doesn't want the belt? Who doesn't want everything that comes with being the champ as well? I think it's, like I said, it's a defense mechanism. John Jones had his own. Other fighters have their own. And this is what we're seeing with Kevin Holland. The dude has all the makings of being a future champ if he wants to.
And hypothetically, even if he doesn't, who the fuck are we? We don't live. If the guy wants to fight and make money,
Prize fighter.
Let him do it. This is his life. Why are we so concerned about everyone else and how they choose to live their life? If Kevin Holland is happy with his life and fighting big name legends, let him fight. Who cares if he says he doesn't want to fight? And maybe it is a ploy. I think I never heard of that I guess that spin zone to it, because that makes sense. That's plausible. But who gives a fuck? And then that reporter continuing to ask when he said, I don't give a fuck, you're still going. And another thing is he goes, oh, what about pay-per-view points? How do you know what he's making? He's making a lot of money. Obviously, he's making money because he wouldn't accept the fight if he wasn't making a lot of money. So you don't know if he's getting pay-per-view points. So everyone is always quick to get an opinion and say something. Just respect the man's wish. That's all I got to say. I'm sorry. You're on mute, kid.
Sorry, this dude is getting paid. Honestly, Kevin Holland is coming from the Dana White Contender Series and working to where he is now. I forgot who I heard. Some fighter came online. He was like, man, I've been Joe Giannetti. What a name drop. Joe Giannetti goes, I've been looking for a fight in the UFC for a minute. I'm wishing for a UFC payday. So you can see the life of a fighter. It's all about perspective.
And we finally got here, kid.
And we're here. That's right. For the main event of UFC Noche UFC. I mean, I think both.
I've heard both.
The Noche UFC would be the Espanol, and the UFC Noche would be the English version.
Yes,
I think.
Correct.
So let's get into it. Alexa Grasso, she's defending her belt. The last time she took it from who is her challenger, Valentina Shevchenko. I've seen a lot of reports about Valentina, getting up there in age. You hit 35, you hit a wall, and it's not likely that you get back. I saw someone, no free shout outs. I think someone had posted 2-29 was the record for
rematches.
Fighters re-challenging for the belt after 35. They've won only twice. So it's not likely we see Valentina getting the belt back. But I just think she's more skilled than Alexa Grasso. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. But if we look at the previous fight, she was winning everything up until that. Maybe that round, not so much. But I think you're right. The age is maybe what came into the factor of that fight. I'll be honest, it got into the third round, fourth round. Yeah. And man, maybe for Shevchenko, it was the age that did it to her. I got to go with my girl, Bullet Shevchenko. She has not proved me wrong in the past. That was the only time. I'm not going to call it a fluke because, like I said, Alexa Grasso, she has a lot of talent, and she's so in her prime that, she's on top of her game. It was a perfect timing for her to challenge for a belt. But I can't go with my gut in this one. All the odds are kind of stacking against me with the age and, but I got to take Valentina Shevchenko here. I got her at -165. I would take her inside the distance to get her revenge back as well. So I get plus money. I don't think you're slight plus money if you do it via decision, but I just don't think I think you're getting a finish from either fighter in this one. Both come to fight. Both want to put a stamp on this. If Grasso does it again, she defines her legacy. If Shevchenko finish her, she proves that it was a fluke, even though I don't think necessarily it was. And we very well may get a trilogy out of it. So that's what I'm hoping for. It may hold the division a little bit, but give me Valentina Shevchenko to reclaim her title at -165. And inside the distance, whatever odds you see, I'll take it for today if you have some late bets.
Yeah, Valentina Shevchenko inside the distance +275.
I like it, actually. I think I would if you think 165 is too chalky, do the inside the distance. What's the worst thing that can happen?
No, that is inside the distance. It's at +275 inside the distance.
Yeah, I'm saying if my play is just the money line -165.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's too chalky. Then try to do a prop on it.
Let's go into it. Last time they fought, Valentina was around a 900 favorite, almost a 10-1 favorite, and now she's a -170. I see -160s out there. And money is coming in on the champion, and I get why. Teddy Atlas has been on record and said when you become the champion, you get 30% better. And a lot of people thought in her last fight, and even against, Santos, I'm talking about Valentina, that she either lost or that she was losing. we never really seen this low of a number with Valentina, except when she fought Amanda Nunes like all those years ago. But I agree with you, man. I do like Valentina to win her belt back. Last time they fought, I thought she lost the first round, but then I thought she got all the cobwebs out and she won rounds 2, 3, and 4 until she tried to get cute. I agree. I thought she was winning the fight. Nothing in that fight showed me that Valentina is on a downhill or she's declining or her age is showing. So I don't want to take anything away from Alexa Grasso because I do think, like I said when we broke it down, I think she has good striking. I think her jiu-jitsu is very underrated. I understand why people are betting on her and why the number is the way it is, but I just like Valentina too much. I love what she said this week in the interview. She's hungry. She's more hungry than ever. She still has a lot of time. She's not done. Give me Ann New. I think she's just better everywhere, Joe. So Valentina on the money line. I got a minus 161.
Saturday, fight of night.
Yeah. I love it.
When she said that, I knew she was serious.
Yeah. And you could tell, like, she's all business, man. So I love it. I think it was sometimes it's good to lose and, get that weight off of you and regroup.
It might have been needed for her in her camp, to be completely honest, to hold that, pressure of a champion. And, I'm not making fun of her broken English.
No.
It's 7 different languages. So
yeah, no, she's way more intelligent than any of us. Let's be honest.
But that does it for UFC Noche. What I want to tell you real quick is some of the fights that we missed out who was supposed to be on this card. Yeah. Yasmin Lucinda was originally supposed to fight Jovsin Knutson. And then she was scheduled to fight Elise Reed. So that's why we got those 2 fighters finding new opponents. I mean, man, Anthony Hernandez was supposed to fight Roman Kopylov originally. And then he was also supposed to fight Chris Curtis when he got pulled. So we were supposed to see either of those fights. Shavkat Rakhmonov was supposed to fight Kelvin Gastelum on this fight. That would have been a banger. And Daniel Rodriguez fighting Santiago Ponzinibbio was also a good fight. So we lost a lot of good fights in this card. I just wanted to let it be known, but we're probably going to see some of them in the coming cards, fight nights, pay-per-views, what have you. So
yeah, I think Chris Curtis, we'll get to that in a sec, but because I do think we have some news there. He is trying to fight in December one more time before the fight, before the year end. But you're right. Before we skip real quick, I do agree. I think that if Valentina wins, it does hold up the flyweight division a little bit because I do think they're going to run the trilogy back.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at it.
No, I'm not either. I think she deserves it.
Absolutely.
But thank you, Joe. I need a bounce back. Let's stay hot for you. Let's get a little MMA news before we get out of here. Derek Brunson, Blonde Brunson, has been removed from the UFC fan ranking pool. He's spoken about retirement in the past. He just pulled out of his fight for UFC 295 with Roman Dolidze. Do you really think he's retired?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think you could retire. I wonder how the contract's worded, but I bet you could retire and he could very well sign with another organization, unless the UFC is the one that ex-nate his contract. But all I saw in my eyes was that he was released and that Roman Dolidze wished him well. So there wasn't any ill will. No. I don't think it was between the two. I honestly, something's telling me it might not have been Brunson's fault. So we'll have more news broken out as the week progresses.
Yeah, absolutely. Fight that's going to happen on a Brazil fight night, UFC São Paulo. Ismael Bonfim's going to take on Vince Pichel November 4th. What do you think about that one? We like the Bonfim brothers.
Yeah, I mean, this is not Gabriel. This is Ishmael. I think we saw him lose to Benoit Saint-Denis, right? Am I wrong about that?
No,
so we have to be careful when we see these brothers because we had the Basharat brothers recently when people are getting confused. We have to make sure of who's fighting. Look them up. Make sure it's not confused with his we got the comments. Aaron Rodgers. That hurts, man. We're not talking about that.
That
hurts too much.
That's a dagger in me. Man.
But yeah, that's what I think about it.
Yeah. Damn. I don't even know how to spin it forward after that one. I know you saw on the New York Stock Exchange, Nick Khan,
TKO, huh?
TKO, Nick Khan, he told Bill Simmons on his podcast that he envisions a setup of an all-star TKO weekend where SmackDown on Friday, a UFC pay-per-view on Saturday, and a WWE pay-per-view on a Sunday. What are your thoughts on that?
I love it. All I got to say is Vince McMahon has been supposedly given some creative control in the UFC.
I love
So
it.
be ready for somebody to come running out with the Money in the Bank briefcase to cash it in for a world title.
Did you see? Look at Company Man DC in the background cheesing at the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah.
$103 for one share went on the market for. So
My
good value.
opinion, I think it's a little high to start.
They're worth a lot of money, but
I do. I just think to start, I think there's going to be a
Yeah.
little bit of regression, a little bearish on it, and then that's where all these whales are going to buy it up, and you're going to see it shoot up to 200. So buy it when it's low next week. The week after, probably within the month, you're going to get some value out of it, and then these whales are going to put all the money, and there's going to be no value in a $250 stock that's going to have to get divided. So.
Remember we said a few weeks ago, maybe even a month or two ago, where we're like, oh, Bellator 300 is going to be the last one, but, confirmation will not be, they said it on Ariel Hawani's show, and then Bellator 300 will not be the final event for the history of Bellator.
Hold on, before you go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you see the breaking news, though?
Right now.
There is more news. They said that PFL just announced that they are not purchasing Bellator. This just broke. They are not purchasing Bellator, and Bellator has officially gone defunct. So I have yet to get my questions answered if we're getting 301, because like you said, they have announced a fight card. But with the company going defunct, are they even going to have 299? That's my question here.
Oh man. And now I'm looking at it, and now it's saying AJ McKee and Sydney Outlaw is being targeted for Bellator 301. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I do think Bellator will go on. They just announced it's like a Grand Prix, like 2 title fights, 1 Grand Prix semifinal, 1 grudge rematch for Bellator.
I like
301.
Bellator. I want them. I think more
too.
promotion is good for fighters. They have more access to this stuff. I mean, our own Garfield's own, he was the champion for CFFC, who's having a fight tonight, Cage Fury Fighting Championships. Frankie Buenafuente. So, I mean, the more promotions there are, the better for the fighters. And I want Bellator to stay around. But, I mean, when it comes down to money if they don't have it, that's right.
Kayla Harrison, she will take on Julia Budd for the 2023 PFL World Championship November 24th. Kayla Harrison, she has to be a top 5 fighter in the world. You think she gets it done?
So you're telling me it's for the title, but Larissa Pachenko still got to fight Molina Mokhtarova. They've still got to fight for the tournament and the $1 million, but you're telling me Kayla Harrison is the one with the belt?
Yes.
That threw me asunder. I don't know what to say with that.
No, you're good.
I think Larissa Pachenko, after beating Kayla, should be the
deserves it.
And going into the tournament for the $1 million. So
I
don't know what to say about that.
But Kayla Harrison's a company woman.
And she did a great job commentating. She's got a face. She's got a background. She did great on Gangbred FC, their last thing with Robin Black. Shout out Robin Black, man.
Yo, shout out Gangbred Boxing, by the way. Bro, I think he's doing a great job promoting and putting together fights. I think it's actually going to be really good and successful. But I don't want to go too far. Terrence McKinney, UFC Vegas 81. He's getting a co-main event slot against Chris Leroy Duncan. Thoughts on that fight?
That's a tough one, man. CLD, bro, he's a good striker. I thought he was bigger than 155. This isn't Chris Duncan.
No, it just says Chris Duncan. I don't know if it's
okay, because if you said Chris Leroy Duncan is Englishman, I think, and he fights at light heavyweight. Chris Duncan, the Scottishman, is the one that I think is fighting Terrence McKinney.
Yeah, then it's him.
So that's a good fight. Our boy Terrence McKinney. We dapped him and Kevin Holland up at Newark. Those are our boys. I'm gonna have a tough time fading him because how explosive he is. But that's a good fight. I'm glad that was announced.
Alex Morano will take on Joaquin Buckley. October 7th. Yeah, the Great White. That's gonna be a banger.
I think so. Alex Morano is a tough out, but Joaquin Buckley has improved the last couple times I've seen him, big time. I think he's more at home in his weight classes. To be honest, we saw him fight Kevin Holland, and they've both made improvements moving down a weight class. So good for them.
We also have Diego Lopez fight news. Pat Sabatini will take on Diego Lopez in Madison Square Garden for UFC 295 November 11th. This kid just got a new contract, man. He deserves it.
Yeah, man, that is a really good fight. And I want to try to get in attendance for that one.
Man. Dana, if you're listening, or anybody in the UFC, man, just it's on Veterans Day. I mean, I'm going to try to go with our buddy Ant. we need a discount. Like I was looking at tickets, they're like 1,000, they're like 1,100 all the
And I
way
don't
up
want to go
there.
through no scalpers or nothing. They're up to no
No.
good.
But last thing, before we go, they've announced UFC China is going
Yeah.
December 9th at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Shanghai. The location is not 100% official, but it is targeted for Mercedes-Benz Arena in Shanghai. The Road to UFC finalists have also been told to prepare for that date.
I love
So
it.
UFC China, we got to get all the Chinese people in there and fight. I can't wait for that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nuremberg, just get them all in there, man. You said it's
Zhang
probably going to
Weili?
be Weili and Jan, right?
It has to be. They
Yeah,
have to.
that's
I know it's not a pay-per-view, but do you put another one like today where it's like fighting for the title, but it's also a fight night? Dana doesn't like to do that.
no. That's why this weekend is rare. It's a rare occasion.
Yeah.
You think China's champion Izzy's gonna? No, I was just doing that to bust your chops, buddy. That's all I was
I
doing.
know. I when you sent me the picture, I go, how does he even have that? I go, this fucking kid is crazy. But yeah, that's all the news. Anything else, we will let you know next week. But before we let you go, Joe, 10 seconds. Let's go. What else you got, kid?
Hey, thank y'all if you stayed up to this point. And you still got some time to put these plays out because KSW 86 is going to be taking place in the afternoon prior to UFC Noche. So my plays are between Michael Mikowski taking on Dominic Humberg. I'm taking the Hamburglar, baby. He's a big favorite, minus 225. But I honestly seen him before in a couple fights, and he's explosive. David Shelmelski is taking on Lam Ali Eskiju. And I like my grapplers. I faded one earlier today. I regretted that. I'm going with the dog, who's a better grappler, sporting an undefeated record. Give me Samowski at plus 125 in the co-main event. And then in the main event, this is their fourth matchup between each other. Jacob Wicklocks is taking on Sebastian Pribzib. The record is 2-1 Wicklocks. I think Pribzib brings it back, brings it even 2-2. We got a fifth fight from these guys. Give me Pribzib at plus 130 as the underdog, tying it up 2-2. We get a fifth fight for KSW, baby. That's my 10 seconds left.
I got one extra play on the way out. Give me new Kyle Nicholson boxing.
Yeah.
She's fighting in Tijuana, Mexico, WBC interim featherweight title. Oh my gosh, you got to put her in a parlay, but right now she's a 10-1 favorite. She's a minus 1,000.
Shout out her. She's got her eyes on the prize. She said she wants her next fight. She's not overlooking her opponent, but the next fight she wants is Amanda Serrano, or at least that's the goal. And
everyone's going after her. Everyone's going after her. You
got to have those aspirations, though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sky Nichols.
Yeah, she's a legend, and I think she gets it done tonight or early morning tomorrow. But that's going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Cake Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, I am D-Rock. We'll see you guys next week with plenty of picks, plenty of hot takes. So please follow on our social media, Twitter and Instagram at Axe Cake Picks. We go live every Friday around 5 o'clock on YouTube, youtube.com/Axe Cake Picks Live. Subscribe, rate, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Good luck on your wagers this weekend. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you guys down the road. Peace.